Welcome to the Starting Over Podcast. I'm your host, Edward Sheldon, aka Dark Logos, and this is the show where we look at the strategies, tactics, and mechanics behind the game of heroclix. Today, I have two super guests on for us to talk about Black History Month and Great Black History Month figs. I'm going to start with the local Mr. Doc Sampson. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Local?
Oh, not local. Sorry. It's
I'm representing ATL. Welcome to Atlanta, where the players play. This is Kari Sampson, aka Roroni KJS, webmaster of heroclixin.com.
all right. And I have the Onyx Juggernaut. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes, Marquise. I don't really have any thing fancy to say. Straight out of Little Rock, Arkansas, representing Team Juggernaut. You know how it is and what it be. Living life and loving living.
There we go. So we have one returning, one new voice for the Black History Month podcast. KJ is busy gaining another Masters of the Universe degree. And unfortunately, I couldn't get Will for scheduling issues. Monday was his bad day. And yeah, it just didn't work out. So, all right, today we are going to be talking about Black heroclix for Black History Month. Which ones are actually good? Which ones are bad? Things to consider when you're making your teams, and some new additions this year. So let's go ahead and start with the new additions that are worth looking at
Since last year?
And I know it's going to sound really bad, and just because he's new, I'm going to start off, I'm going to say the new Blade. Like, he's not bad. You know, he comes in at a really nice point value. Yes, Vulture just completely like, one-upped him because of Old Man Cap. But if we forget all that and we're playing him on a Black History Month team, he is definitely worth playing. So, Marquise, what's your pick?
Listen, if we just picking figs that have come out in the last year, Black History Month figs, I've got to go with one of my all-time favorite figs since I started playing the game, one that I thoroughly enjoy, and that's going to be, well, technically, I guess this figure didn't come out last year. It came out 2 years ago. I'm still sticking with it.
Okay.
Gauntlet Panther. Gauntlet Panther from Battle World.
Cosmic Panther.
I love that fig. Yes, I love that fig, man. Side note, in Endgame, when T'Challa had the gauntlet, I wanted him to put it on so bad. Yeah. I just wanted to see that so bad. I can't be the only one.
Yeah, I agree.
I wanted to see it, but I knew he wouldn't because not his movie. Not this time.
Yeah. They did the Shuri. They're doing the Shuri thing to him now, which I feel really bad. He got 2 movies or 3 movies of being awesome, and now Shuri's going to come in. Which,
well, we'll see about that. I'm not taking anything for as gospel until it really happens.
I know. All right. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sad. I'm depressed now.
Who's really good? Y'all's version of really good is different from my version of really good, but I'm gonna stick with the really super playable stuff. If you're gonna play a Black History Month team, you need to have a doctor on the team. Mm-hmm. You need Dr. Claire Finn. Put Dr. Claire Finn on the team.
Don't you get that green blob dude, the Forbits or whatever?
You get green blob. I want to say his name is Yafit or something, but Yafit. Yeah, you get him.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Give sidestep to your entire team.
Sidestep to your entire team, an extra perplexer. Yep.
Yeah. That is actually not a bad pick. I know for myself, when we talk about Black Panthers, ones that I've been trying to get to work, it's Prime Panther from ABPI.
Oh gosh, dude. Panther.
As in a casual game, I love that fig.
Dude,
I love that vid. Just a regular casual game. Oh man.
Okay. So story time, y'all.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm late coming into this podcast is because I was trying to use that figure in the game, and it didn't work. It didn't work out, man.
It
I want
does. Liar
no.
ring. Liar ring all day.
What wing?
Liar ring.
Liar ring. See, but this was like a. Well, I can't say it was a no tactics, no thing because I had one of the gauntlets on the other ABPI Panther. Mm-hmm. But no, this was just bad play on my part. I had him protected behind all the stealthy people. Oh. And I double perplex my movie Panther so that he would be an unhittable 20. And then my opponent rolled like 2 10s in a row, and my prop Panther was in the back, not able to see. It was an avalanche of bad play on my part, and I can't quite figure out how to make that Panther work without making him into a liar.
Okay, fair enough.
Do it.
Fair enough.
Oh,
go ahead.
Let me interject. Let me jump in on that because I made him work pretty good in the Battle Royale. Mm-hmm. So I played him with the LE Storm that gives friendly stealth. Yeah. Give friendly stealth. So the way that I played him is I just kept him in the back as a perplex probber and used other guys like as attackers. Of course, you've got BC Panther, Wakanda theme team, of course. Oh, BC Panther with the Shuri LE, the one that's the leader, Queen Shuri. And I use Cosmic. Yeah, and used me a Cosmic Panther and some Dora Milaje, and I just literally kept Uncommon Panther in the back, perplex up attacks with whatever, use my stealth, and he would prob whatever the first attack was always. Because with him, the purpose was to get the little warlord on the food. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so just keep him in the back. He's basically a support fig.
That was my plan, was to keep him in the back, but I needed him in the front for that one attack.
Yeah, I'll have to like double down on Queen Shuri. Queen Shuri is like one stage away from being broke. Like, and if she wasn't Wakanda and she was any other keyword, you would see her everywhere. But the fact that she's Wakanda, and Wakanda really needed her and Queen Storm. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And you just look, it's like, I can up the defense on all of my Wakandans based on how many tokens she has, which can be good or bad depending, because there's a couple of times you're like, I'm about to get attacked next turn and I'm about to clear. This is bad. Like, every turn you're praying that leadership goes off. So, so you can take a token off of her so she can do something to keep you that +2 defense the entire time. She outwit, she perplex. Her point value is good enough that she can call in a lot of decent ID cards. And, when you start buffing them up with, like, the Fast Forces Black Panther, the one from the ABPI set, like, she actually can do pretty well in terms of attack and building a nice little Wakandan theme team. Like, she's great. Like, I own 2. If I could ever utilize 2, that would be great. But I don't think that's going to happen. There's no like game that's that big that I don't just go, what'll be fun right now? Sentinels. Sentinels will be real fun right now.
Dude, I love me some Sentinels.
Oh yeah, the new Sentinels.
Dude.
Oh gosh, I was happy and sad last episode. If props to anybody that went through the 4 hours of my lunacy.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah, grats to you. But in part 3, I was like, look, I have options when it comes to Sentinels. I don't have options when it comes to Wakanda. And hell, Wakanda doesn't come together completely. All right. Before I go on my Wakanda bandwagon, let's keep going through our picks here.
I guess I'll go next. Actually, I can't really say I'm OCD. I'm not really. But I kind of want to go down the list of all the black clicks that have been released since our last episode. Okay. But we'll do that after we go through our initial phase that we like. One of my faves. Okay, this is my real fave. This is like my number one fave figure in the game right now. and that is 022 Power Girl from Rebirth.
No, I wanted to love her so much. No, she hurt me. No.
I mean, she hurt you maybe, but she's done work for me. She is a fun fig, meaning that she's not completely broke. But but yeah, I built a team with her and some other like giant girls because that's a theme that I like to try to bring to the meta. And she definitely put in work during the Pauper event. Mm-hmm. That team, I could have done well in that team if I had been playing in the event. As it stood, I came really close to defeating in the initial buy round the guy who wound up winning our Pauper states.
Oh, okay.
That team. And much of it is due to Power Girl. She has that power where she can choose either Outwit or Perplex, and she can also free action choose to become a giant or a colossal. She has this trait where if she hits somebody but doesn't KO them on a 3-6, she can heal from the hit. So when you combine that with colossal stamina, she can just keep acting and not end up taking permanent damage. Because she's a colossal, she can be one of your taxis. If you don't need her to be colossal, or you don't want her to be hit, you can just leave her normal size and she shrinks behind other characters. But it's usually a good thing for her to be giant or colossal because she gets a +1 to all her stats. And she starts on her 115 point level. She starts with an 11 attack anyway, so suddenly that's a 12. She's hitting for 4. She's charging for an extra square. She's nice. She's nice. I love her.
Yeah. Rebirth hurt my soul, man. We talked about this on the phone. Rebirth hurt my soul because I was like, man, I was enjoying the set. I'm like, WizKids is going to calm things the hell down. Yes, all right. I don't mind that. We're in a place where we can sort of calm down. Everything doesn't need to be broken. And then out comes ABPI, and I'm just looking at Rebirth, and I'm like, all that money I spent on figures I'll never use again, and I cried. I cried so bad. Definitely at Starfire, I was just like, oh, I had plans for you, my darling, and now you're going to be adjudicated to the bin, to the box of toys that will never be played. So yeah.
So let me ask you something, Ed. Yeah. So you don't really care for casual games. I know you're a big time meta player. You don't like to just make random teams. Keep it real.
So I'm Ed likes casual, but his lane is competitive.
Okay, I'm gonna keep this 100. All right. So I have an instinct that is caked in so strong from me playing in Kansas City, and that is. There's
Kansas City, Kansas, right?
yeah. Where the Chiefs play. Yeah.
If you don't get that joke, just go check the Twitterverse post Super Bowl weekend. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So
our listeners know. They know.
I think everybody knows by now. But here's what happened. So there was myself and another guy that's been on the show, Mega Lotus Man. He and we would play against each other, hardcore, burn the venue down, and then eventually, like, we're looking around, like, after two gods have battled, and it's like, you know what? Let's create a healthy atmosphere, and let's calm down. And so I'll calm down, and I'll do the basics of team design, but I won't be like, I don't need 3 perplexes, I have 1. I don't need 2 probs, I have 1. All these things. Or even days like I'll leave something out, right? Mm-hmm. And then comes in a day where I'm playing like my super fun guy team, and there's like a guy that knew not the venue. That's the best way I can phrase it. He didn't know what he stepped into. And then he plays something competitive. I'm not going to even say meta. Something competitive. And so he rolls, if he beats Josh and I, we both look at each other, and we're like, the dark gods must come back. So like, that instinct in me is always there. It's like, oh, okay. Like, my definition of casual is most people's definition of, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, and 10 being extreme. Like, my casual is most people's 6. It's like, oh, I ran Sentinels. And I ran like Bastion. It was like a 400-point game. It was like I ran Bastion, Cyclops Sentinel, like 3 Boulevard Trask, 5 of the Friends of Humanity and stuff. And I think it was like some other Sentinel that I can mind control.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's casual. Until I looked at what everybody else brought, and I was like, oh, y'all about to die. And they did, and I felt bad because I was told that this was going to be a casual Golden Age game, and I was going to bring like a lantern and everything. And that would have been way overkill. So I hate to say this, I have fun playing, and I hate losing. And that does make me petty to a degree. I will admit it's a personal flaw. I hate losing unless it's a lab day. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to see how this goes. If I lose, I lose. But other than that, like, I can't do it. Even Black History Month for, let's see, 4 years. 4 years, I brought my best Black History Month team and have lost like 4 years in a row. So, yeah, that's when I get frustrated because then I have the I failed my people moment.
Right.
That's what I thought. That, man, I get my black card revoked for Black History Month because I lost.
Okay, so Marquise, what other black figures should Ed and other people play so that they don't embarrass us?
So that they don't embarrass us. I'll tell you one that I think would be fun to play. I have not gotten to play this figure yet, but it's one that I've been dying to get my hands on. I actually don't own it. I think that it will be pretty fun. I got to see it in a battle royale one time, but the Prime Falcon from the Black Panther and the Illuminati set. The one that gets autonomous if Captain America is on the map.
Yeah,
that's a fig that I don't own it yet. I haven't gotten it, and I just really want to pick it up. I personally do enjoy I enjoy playing meta as much as I enjoy playing casual. However, I do want to offer up the caveat that I don't believe that casual means that it's not necessarily like competitive. You don't have to build a non-functioning team without parts that synergize together. Oh, yeah. Like that doesn't mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, your team can still function well within the context of what a team should function as. You can have outwit perplex and everything, but I don't know. But I enjoy playing just random teams sometimes. Sometimes I just want to feel the thunderbolts. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, but I enjoy all aspects of the game. So yeah, I really want to play that Prime Falcon, and I'm gonna pick that up in the not too distant future.
So
yeah, I played it a few times.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I've played it a few times. It is a solid piece. I wish it were. I can't say I wish it were better because it's about as good as a Falcon should be. To be perfectly honest, or perfectly frank about it. I've had mixed results with it. I'll just put it that way.
I think it's I hate to say it, it's like you need a good Captain America to balance it off. I think that's the thing. Like, oh, this Captain America, you can benefit from, the Falcon because, maybe he's getting carried around or whatever else. Like, so I could see that. I will give an honorable mention to the new Cap Falcon. He's not bad. He's not great, but he's not bad.
Dude, I'm so stoked about that, dude. He's only gonna cost me like $5. I'm getting that guy.
Dude. And I'll say this, and when we go and talk about this set, we'll go more into it. I'm not fully mad about the sculpt reuse, but I am. I'm like, yo, man, when it comes time for me to look at my older version, I'm like, hold on, wait, which one is it? Like, I'm eyeballing it. I'm like, which one is it? Oh, wait, I just set symbol. Okay, there we go. But I know this is bad. This is also bad. and because I forgot when he came out, but the War Machine from the Winter WKOs.
Mm-hmm.
He's one that I've been wanting to play, but I can't find a team to make him work. Like that's been my problem, and I think that he's a valid War Machine to build around. Of course, like the new super rare one is pretty boss. Like I was super happy when I did the review on the new War Machine. I was like, yo, he's broke good. I wish that the perplex power that he had and Punisher had were swapped, but that's only, my really bad critique about the figure. But when you look at, where'd you go, War Machine? You're hiding from me. Yeah, I can't find
125.6 clicks. Pick a power, that guy. Energy shield deflection. Well, not full pick a power.
Yeah, it's like
choose one.
Power.
We get energy shield deflection, sidestep, willpower, and he can use the chosen power to the end of the turn. A special damage, probability control, but only when War Machine is targeted with a ranged attack.
Yeah.
That's the one you're talking. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
I spent so much money trying to get that figure.
You should have talked to me, dude. I had like 3.
Well, this was when it was brand new, and I just decided I'm not waiting.
You should have talked to me. I got 3.
No, I mean, this is like it was brand new.
I know. I went to like 3 WKOs, man.
Wasn't that like a 2019?
Yeah, 2019.
This was back in 2018. I said, I'm just going to buy it. I regret it a little bit now.
I thought he came out last year. Oh, nope, I was wrong.
It was like right at the end of the year, and I just decided I'm not waiting.
Okay.
I've done that a couple more times, and I'm starting to get that back under control because I've spent too much money on stuff that I cannot use.
Yeah.
Which kind of brings me to one of my other favorites here.
You gonna say Asgardian Storm?
No, this is not the Asgardian Storm. I went to Worlds and I just got that one, because of that deal, remember?
Shout out to Jay Major. This is best $40 I spent in a long time.
Yeah. No, if you went to Worlds and you stayed at the host hotel, they gave you the option to get a package where she was just part of the package. So I was like, oh, this is okay. I don't have to fight for this one. Good. That Prime Storm, on the other hand.
Oh.
Now, I did not pay pre-release prices for it. I saw the prices they are asking for that storm. Mm-hmm. You know what? My ceiling is about half of what y'all asking. So I made some best offer. Yeah, they said best offer. I was like, I'm gonna make this offer here. If you actually want to take this money and actually make money, you can take my money. And finally, somebody did. Actually, I think I had to win an auction.
How much did you spend?
$107.
Ooh,
that was my ceiling. But I got that storm like in September without having to buy several cases or whatnot. Now she's like down to like 70 something at the most. It's just like, okay.
Marquise, do you have a Prime Storm?
I do. My boy.
I bet you didn't pay that much for it.
Lord, no, man, listen. I love toys. Don't get it twisted. But your boy got a budget. You know what I'm saying? I believe in stewardship and being a good steward with my funds and resources that the good Lord has blessed me with. I ain't spending $200 on no toys.
I agree, but I have PayPal credit. Hey,
I got lucky, man. I got lucky, man. One of my boys, man, he picked up one and he pulled an extra one, and I had an extra Iceman. I won an extra Iceman super rare. Nice. So we worked out a trade like Iceman super rare Prime Storm. I think it was something else, and of course I gave him some cash to balance out the deal, and we were both happy with it. So
nice.
It was good.
But I told you all that to tell you this. There was another figure that I bought way too fast. And that was Ambrose Chase.
Yeah.
I love Ambrose Chase.
Yeah.
He's a great fun figure. And if I had not lost my Mr. Oz card, I would be playing him next week at a WKO on my little meta team. But I lost my Mr. Oz card. So, and as we said earlier, or as I said earlier, constructed, modern, competitive gives me the hives. So I'm probably not going to drive out there for that. But I really like that figure. I like the fact that he can attack 6 targets with 1 costed action. That he's got prob for himself, prob for his teammates. That he what's the other thing he has? He also has that choice of outwit or perplex. So he is a nice fun figure. If he had willpower, he'd be perfect.
Yeah, Authority, man, not Authority. Planetary. That was an excellent comic, and the fun thing about Ambrose Chase is you can still play him with all the planetary people, and he's still. I think that's still a legal team.
Yes, it is modern.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Okay, so real talk about Ambrose Chase for me. So when Ambrose Chase came out, I said to myself, no matter what, I have to win one of these. So I went out. Like I said, I went to like 3 WKOs. And I did not win one whatsoever. By the third one of my boys were like, here you go. We already know. This is what you're doing this for. Here you go. So that was worthwhile. Okay, so go ahead and give us the list, Corey Sampson.
The list of every Black heroclix released since last February.
Yes.
All right. So the first were from Captain Marvel movie set. We had 2 Nick Furies, 004 and 013, the common and rare respectively. And we had Korath, as in the Pursuer.
Yeah, Korath the Pursuer.
Both of those were Black figures. Korath made a little bit of appearance in the meta because of the thing that he can do.
Hulk.
Yep, Hulk. Then we had Rebirth. We had a Cyborg in the Fast Forces set at both 50 and 100 point levels. And then we had Rebirth proper with Kid Flash. Yeah, he's a solid piece. In Rebirth proper, we had Kid Flash, Power Grove, 2 common versions at 50 points each. Duke Thomas, who was a favorite of mine, sort of.
Signal, yeah.
And Signal, who is not.
That's you don't like Signal?
I really like the idea of Signal, and I want to play him on teams, but he has never quite worked for me.
He doesn't work on Batman teams, which sucks. You have to play him off theme.
Yeah, and that's not really. He's not really your prime figure.
No, he's not
for any team, really. Right. So yeah. Aqualad finally got Calderham in heroclix. Cyborg at 75 and 50 points respectively. We got the Defiance versions of Kid Flash and Power Girl. We got Mr. Terrific remade finally with his T-Spirit. Yeah. We got Bumblebee made finally with 2-point values. We got a new Black Mana, and we got a LE Mr. Terrific.
The LE Mr. Terrific is boss if you know how to build.
If you know how to build. He is almost a perfectly well-balanced figure because he definitely says we're all playing fair today.
Yeah.
But don't build him on a team with your combat reflexes or your CCE or your ESD figures because he's gonna nerf your team too.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, hold on. The uncommon from the Rebirth, y'all didn't like him? I love that fig, man.
No.
I love the uncommon too, but he's hard to play.
No, man.
Dude, he's so much fun. I like him. I do. I really do.
If I could be like, it takes 2 T-spheres to perplex someone else, then yeah, I would have been like, you know what? That's worth it because there's enough shenanigans you can do between the T-spheres and messing with people and all this other stuff. Like, there's things you could do, but no, man. Like,
The fact that it only perplexes him.
it only perplexes him, and like it could have been cool because he could have had like, oh, I outwit through this, or hey, I use it as a distraction. Roll a d6 on like a 5 or 6, you get incapacitated. They're like, what's that over there? Poof. You know, like, that makes sense. That's a good use of these mechanics. But it's like, nah, man, he just perplexes himself because he's up in the watchtower all day. I'm like, nah.
No, he perplexes himself and he punches people from the watchtower off far away.
All day.
Yeah, I kind of like it, man. I have fun playing that fig.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
sorry,
great.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
No.
It's a great fun fig. It's not a great competitive fig.
Oh, definitely not competitive. No, I'm definitely not trying to say it's competitive. No, sir.
Speaking of competitive sets, though, now we go to ABPI, which was black AF.
Yeah.
So much blackness in there. But as we've kind of commiserated earlier, the Wakanda figures are not necessarily super competitive. But let's run down the list.
Yeah.
We got the Dora Milaje. We have the Dora Milaje Midnight Angel, the Wakandan Scientist. We have Nakia. We have 45-point Black Panther. He's the Casper version of the character.
He's all right.
I'm not sure if I want to count him, but, you know, he has the complexion, so Shield Diplomat could be considered a
That's
black.
questionable.
And, yeah, when I look at him, I'm thinking, this dude might be Indian. Not black.
He's a love child of Everett K. Ross and one of the Dora Milaje.
Is he for real?
Nah, I'm just making it
I
up.
was about to say, I was like, what the heck, did that happen? Because last time I checked, Everett K. Ross was a racist dude.
I was making it up. Yeah, you know them be the ones. You ever heard of a little guy named Thomas Jefferson?
I gotta mute myself. All right, let's keep going.
Okay, you back. Okay. All right. Okay. We have Io with her 2-point levels at 30 and 20, respectively.
She's mad at 20 points.
Yeah, she's. I like her. So I put her on a pauper team that could have done some stuff. Then we have Anika, Shuri, Malice again. This is what is this? Oh yeah, this is Malice. This is the figure that Nakia can sort of promote into. We have White Tiger in the main set at 50 points.
I thought White Tiger was actually a white guy.
No, he's Casper Cole. This is
okay. Sorry,
yeah.
I'm thinking of the other one.
White Wolf. Yeah.
White Wolf. Yeah, I mixed them up. Which
Um,
is not Bucky Barnes.
no, not Bucky Barnes. We have Black Panther, the uncommon, who has the ability to put on one of those Infinity Gauntlet, not relics, equipments, or a gem for 15 or 5 points, respectively.
It was like, did you not afford Cosmic Panther before? Did you get lucky and pull an Infinity Gauntlet and you had those fantasies? Here you go.
Sorry, it's not as good as the other one. Sorry.
Yeah, but it's almost as expensive.
Yes. We have the Prime ABPI Black Panther that we talked about earlier. We have Okoye the Rare, which is another one of my favorites.
Yeah.
The Prime Falcon we talked about earlier. And we have Chase Black Panther, the 1 million BC Avengers,
No.
which I want to love, but can't quite. Neither me or Ed can quite love that one.
I try so hard.
Mhm.
So, like, everything in me was like, this is the Panther I need right now for the meta. And then it's like, oh, I can't deploy him. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. How important is it for you to be immune to Blaze Claw's fangs, really? Not really. Not really important. And you don't really get your full points out of him unless you're playing another Black Panther. But are you going to do that in competitive? Maybe, but the only competitive Black Panther is the 150-point one, so and then you got to pay this extra 85, and it might not. No. So he's on the sidelines more often than not. Next set is Regenesis. We got a Storm in that one. She's okay.
She was good.
No, she's okay.
The 40.1.
No,
Her low point dial. Her low
no,
point dial is good.
70.1, and her low point one is 50 points. She's okay.
No, I'm thinking deep cuts.
Yeah, no, decals. We haven't gotten to that one yet.
Yeah, sorry. I get them mixed up. I didn't play too much Regenesis.
It's the same sculpt. After that one, we have Star Trek. We got two. We get two. No, we just got one Geordie LaForge.
We're not counting Worf.
We're not counting Worf. He's clean.
Oh. I was gonna say.
He's a Klingon, and frankly, the original Klingons, they were just white dudes in blackface. We are not counting them.
Korvath. We counted Korath.
That's because Korath is an actual black dude and always has been an actual black dude in space. Worf is a Klingon in space.
It's better than the new Klingons because the new Klingons are just horrible. But
I have no opinion because I don't watch. So
fair enough. I saw the first 2 episodes and I was just out of Discovery or whatever the heck it is called. Or yeah.
Next set is another Star Trek set. The To Boldly Go. We got a Lieutenant LaForge, and then we got Mirror Universe LaForge.
Mirror Universe LaForge is okay. He's nothing to write home about. You really need the whole Mirror Universe set of guys to rotate through. Having seen that, that's good game design. Having them all be chases is horrible. That sucked. But yeah, I agree with you. That one's okay.
Yeah, he can still be played alone without them because you don't need the others to use some of his tricks. It's just better with them.
Yeah.
Next we get X-Manimated. That's what I like to call it.
X-Manimated?
Actually, I like to call it Batman-Animated for the Batman animated one. I call this one Dark Phoenix Saga to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got a Storm, the Rare, which I don't like.
No, she's horrible.
We got the Prime Storm, which I very much like. I should, since I paid all that money. And
her 3 times.
And we have a Frenzy, which is much better than I expected.
I did not know Frenzy is black. You couldn't really tell.
Yeah, she is. She was introduced like in the very first arc of X Factor back in the mid '80s.
Huh.
Yep.
Original X Factor or government X Factor?
Original X Factor.
Okay, it had to be original. Okay, yeah. People forget. Like, there was 2 versions of X Factor. One was like the original X-Men.
X-Men in disguise, sort of.
Wearing big X uniforms with X's on it.
Mm-hmm.
Those stories were okay. I read a bunch. They were okay.
Yep. And then we come to, I think the next one released was the Deep Cut Storm, who
it's good.
I'm disappointed because she's a 40-point figure, and I'm still wanting my Storm who like can snap her fingers and conjure up a hurricane in 2 minutes.
We've had that.
No, we haven't. Not really.
There was the one that had the what was it? Was it XSS that had the Storm tokens, or was that like one of the anniversary sets?
It was Uncanny X-Men, maybe. I'm not sure.
We had that. It just wasn't good. I will argue.
That's what I'm saying. We need one that's good. She snaps her fingers, and in 2 minutes, there's a hurricane. We have not had that.
We have to find. We have to pitch a good game balanced version of it because what they've tried in the past is horrible.
The Prime Storm kind of comes close with some of her stuff.
Storm is boss, but unfortunately, you play her at higher point values. She just dies too quickly, in my opinion.
Yep.
She's very glass jawed.
Yep.
But once that chick retowels, her retail is worth the 25 points you pay.
Yep. um, and finally, we have our latest set, which brings us Isaiah Bradley, Josiah
Yes.
X, uh, the latest Black Panther, Azuri the
Oh.
Prime version,
Yes, ish.
um,
I'm sort of happy.
Falcon America. I mean Captain America,
Yeah.
uh, War Machine, Ironheart.
Again. Yeah.
I'm I'm making a heart for her because I love that piece.
She's good.
And Blade.
Yeah.
We also have a Fast Forces Isaiah Bradley coming.
Yeah. He's okay.
Yep.
25 points, I think. Just
Yes.
like the old one. So yeah, like he's worth his points. I think the fact is most people aren't going to look at him seriously because soldier isn't the in keyword right now.
Right now.
Right
Um,
now, yeah.
yeah. Yep. And the last ones we have are our LEs from the past year. The most recent, well, I'm not going to do them by recency. I'm just going to go down this list. John Stewart, Ambrose
Dude,
Chase.
he is hot fire. I forgot
John,
about John Stewart. He is hot
John,
fire.
John Stewart he's very good. This is the first time I feel like we've gotten an actual complete John Stewart figure in this game.
Oh come on, man! War of Light, prize support. John Stewart was a beast.
He was he was a beast. These I feel like that figure still didn't have TK.
It doesn't matter. He had freaking 10 range running shot RCE. He was a beast.
See, I like this John Stewart because he is strong, but he's also a team player.
Fair? That is fair.
Okay, yeah. All right. Ambrose Chase, we talked about him. We got a new static, y'all, and I'm super
Yeah,
happy.
he's good too.
Um, there was a Missy Knight, a Luke Cage, both released like right after our cast last year.
Yeah, I was a fan of Luke Cage.
We talked about Queen Shuri. We didn't talk about M'Baku, which is such a great upgrade over the Man Thing, not Man Thing, Man Ape,
Yeah.
version that he's a resculpt of. We got two Storms. One who's the Queen Storm we mentioned, who gives all her pals stealth within 3 squares, and then we got Asgardian Storm with a fake Mjolnir hammer Storm, who I went to Worlds like, I'm going to Worlds, I'm going to win this figure some kind of way. But then I found out I didn't have to. And we got Miles and Gwen.
Oh yeah, I forgot
That
about
fig is so good. That fig is fun to play. Have y'all played that yet?
I have.
I've played them on the sidelines to my Jason Wingard team, which is
On the sideline. On the sidelines, what?
yeah
What, bro?
for Jason Wingard.
Man, you need to put them on the field.
Outwitting
Gotta play 'em, man.
Miles-
Outwitting Perplex
Miles and Gwen are kind of dumb.
Have you played them? Have you gotten to play them?
I have played them, and I haven't even used them to their full potential, and they've just affected the game in so much. And they're really good. They're really good.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I guess. I think again it comes back for me.
Oh,
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
missed a couple of them. The Orville. We talked about Dr. Claire Finn. We didn't talk about Lieutenant Commander John Lamar. He is also invited to the cookout
Yeah, he's invited to the cookout.
because he's got his black card. Okay, now I think I've covered all of them. Yes. Okay.
All right. So, if any point in time someone wants to timestamp when Doc Sampson listed off the whole list, if you wanted to, just to help anybody that's building Black History Month teams, because I think we're pretty exhaustive, at least for like all the stuff that's came out since this year, since the last cast, and you can go to the last cast and listen to that, because I think we've been doing this. This is year 3.
This is at least year 3. It might be the 4th.
Might be 4 years. Gosh, been doing this for a while. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah. All right. So, all right. Let's sort of transition. Let's talk about the new set, Captain America and the Avengers. And I had my rant. You all can listen to what I said. So I'm going to give my guest the spotlight on this. So, Marquise, go ahead, pop it off for us.
Yes, please do.
So I got to play in my pre-release last weekend, and I had a great weekend in terms of pools. I actually got to do a battle royale. I opened up Immortal Hulk,
Oh,
and yeah, I opened him up, and then I got to pair him with a super rare Thor, which isn't the most amazing fig ever, but in terms of a sealed event, she, whatever. Is it transgender Thor? I don't know. Loki
sort of,
turned
yeah.
Thor into a
Because, Loki turned him into a
yeah.
woman, yeah.
So anyway, I got to play with that Thor, and I had Winter Soldier, who's the real MVP. I mean, Immortal Hulk, we know he's amazing, but Winter Soldier is, listen, if you open that guy up, strongly consider putting him on the team. That put me at 275 on the nose, and so I could have stayed theme with Avengers, but I decided to throw 25 points in, break my theme, and put a Jolt on my team as well.
Oh, yeah,
300.
worth it.
Yeah. And so did pretty good. I actually went 2-1. The guy who won the event, he opened Ultron. So yeah.
Oh,
I finished second. It was all good, man. We ended up doing a BR after the fact, and I walked away with Ghost Rider and a Baron Zemo. So yeah, I was stoked about that. But in terms of just the figs and getting to play, man, if you find a fig with the espionage trait without wit,
yeah,
play that fig. I think
Thank you,
there are
Carter.
a few. Yeah, I think Roz Solomon has it, maybe, possibly. Yeah. Let me check. I know Winter Soldier has it. He's a phenomenal attacker as well. Yeah, Roz Solomon as well.
Is Roz Solomon black?
No, she's not.
Oh, okay.
She is an agent of Wakanda.
No, that's what I was wondering.
She might be Italian or something.
No,
I don't know what's going on.
She's a white chick.
Oh, okay, never mind.
She is definitely a white chick. You know, sometimes you wonder because you're like, she's a little tan. Then you're like, nah, yeah, she's a white chick. I never seen her before. So.
Yeah, she's a relatively new character. Showed up in Jason Aaron's Thor run. Basically, the Agents of Wakanda are a bunch of non-Wakandan superhumans that Black Panther has recruited to basically be sort of a secret Avengers team of his own, where he can save the world from stuff that the Avengers are too distracted to concentrate on, and also something he can do that will not risk Wakandan lives. So these members they're not expendable because T'Challa is not like that. But they're not Wakandan lives.
Yeah. All right. So you, Marquise, overall, you're feeling like this is it's not bad for Sealed. It's fun for Sealed.
Yeah, I had a good time with the Seal. I'll be honest with you. The game that I lost, the guy that I lost to played a bunch of spy figs with different outwit abilities and espionage. And it was a close game. Maybe if I had more time, I'm sure I could have went through his team because I had Immortal Hulk. But he was able to outwit, keep me from doing certain things, and he took advantage of outwit. I like sets that feel balanced enough to where if you only open up, rares and uncommons, you don't just automatically lose to every single super chase that shows up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I like it when it feels balanced because it's no fun to just. Of course, they're always going to be in a sealed environment in any type of game, whether it's Magic the Gathering or HeroClix or you name it. There's always going to be something that's a quote unquote bomb. But when everything that is of unique and higher rarity is a quote unquote bomb, it makes the game no fun if you don't open up one of those figs. So I enjoy the format. I definitely enjoyed this seal format.
That's fair. I will say that in a seal format, I'm not 100% discouraged. I still will stand by my rant. It's like when all the espionage traits give you plus improved movement, ignores hindering, plus stealth, plus improved targeting, ignores hindering, it's sort of pointless when you're like, I have spies. It's like I sneak around. It's like, oh, you have spies too. It's going to be one of those games where we're out in the open, we can see each other, and none of us really have move and attack. Well,
Now, I will be honest, that felt cheesy.
Doesn't that make sense though? Who better than a spy to find and fight a spy?
this sounds like a Mad TV skit, sir. It sounds like a Mad TV skit. For those who are old enough to remember, Mad TV used to have the cartoon Spy versus Spy.
It's a spy.
Yeah. So yeah, like that's how I looked at it. I just got frustrated with that part. All right. Go ahead, give us your take, Doc Samson. Give us your take.
On this set,
Yeah.
well, since we're doing the Black History set, I'm gonna look at the Black Figs. I actually got a chance to play with Captain America, Sam Wilson, and I like him all right. I was running into that problem where he was the one who was not the espionage guy, so he was able to actually shoot people the way I really would have liked to have done. I also don't like the fact that you have to push to get to his Carry On Steve's legacy, where he modifies his defense +2 if he moves during your last turn. So that was a little problematic, but
Yeah, I can see that. But you get impervious though.
Yeah, you get impervious, which is not terrible. I mean, sure, it just dies to outwit or penetrating damage, but hey, if he runs, shoots, and then gets hit, that other power where he gets the +2 defense that kicks in on the second follow-up shot. So if they wasted an outwit on your impervious, well, they still have to get through the super senses toughness, and suddenly they have to hit a 17 or higher. It's not bad. It also has a little legend thing where he does not die on the first KO.
Yeah. That's one reason I can't completely poo-poo him.
Mm-hmm. Yep. He is the only one I actually got to play in these pre-release events. I faced Isaiah Bradley, which would have been problematic if my opponent had been a more savvy player. My opponent did not use Isaiah Bradley's Empower to its fullest. And so I was able to get around that. Isaiah Bradley is a little bit soft, but only defend and toughness as his defense. And he costs, he costs 60 points? I thought he cost 50. Okay.
I did too. I went and checked. It's the Fast Forces version is 25.
Yeah.
And you look at that, it makes you think of like his original heroclix when he came out.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I like him. I look forward to playing him. I also faced Josiah X. And that dude was as strong as his pappy. But he's only 50 points. He's much tougher with invulnerability. He also has the Empower. And he has the ability to help reduce penetrating damage for himself or characters adjacent. What was the keyword? Oh gosh, it's just people you share a keyword with them. He doesn't have to be adjacent to them. You put him on a soldier team, and suddenly the enemy's penetrating Psychic Blast does not matter.
Okay, all right. So let's talk about Josiah X, because this was one of my sore spots. I did not think he was worth a prime. Am I wrong?
He nullifies the enemy's penetrating damage if you put him on a theme team. They don't have to be adjacent. That's worth priminess. And he does it to anybody.
Yeah.
He does it to anybody who's adjacent, but the fact that he doesn't have to be adjacent if you put him on a theme team, that's worth being a prime, I think.
I didn't even peep that second part of that. No, you're right.
And he's a scientist, so there's some teams that can do that. Soldiers are still a thing, if not, not as much as they used to be, but yeah, still a thing. Warrior, that's not really a great keyword, but not at the moment, but that could change at any given time. So yeah,
I'm not very familiar with the lore of Josiah X, so I don't know what all teams he was actually on. But if he has some,
basically,
he was what?
He was only on a short-lived team called the Crew. That followed after Black Panther's very early 2000s series, written by Christopher Pierce.
Didn't they remake the Crew recently with Black Panther, Luke Cage, Misty Knight?
Yeah.
I got a couple of cut.
Yeah, it was just a reuse of the name, but he was not a member of that team.
Okay, got you. Well, and the point you make about being able to reduce penetrating damage as long as you say a keyword. Although I'm not a big fan of soldier or warrior personally.
Same.
Scientists maybe. I don't know. I'm not a big scientist guy either, but there are a lot of scientists. I don't know. There might be something there. I'm not in love with his keywords, but the ability is good. I think.
Okay. So here's my second take, because I didn't fully catch that myself because I got caught up on the adjacent part. B, I think he all of a sudden gets the Welcome to the Legion, the Avengers back rub type treatment. Like in particular, I think like Welcome to the Legion for a Golden Age with him would make a lot of Superboys and what's that other guy that's like Superboy but he's not. That's probably Monel. Like,
Monel's also a prime, so maybe not.
Well, one of them is.
Well, this is the Green Lantern version.
Yeah, like all of a sudden, those guys on Legion become really scary because now you have to outwit them to get their stuff away. For Avengers, I think in higher points, Josiah X might be worth it. But I mean, I'm still sort of, I'm not as like, I don't like this guy's before. You have moved me to neutral.
But I hear what you're not saying though.
What? Put a Green Lantern battery on it?
No. Do you play him over Vulture?
No, not 300. No, not in 300.
The answer is always no. So
higher point games, yes.
And I don't think the dude's amazing, but as a common prime, I think that he's fine. I think that his power, his special power, like half of it contradicts the other half of it, right? Because you want to use the empower, he needs to be in the fight. The flip side to that is if you want to keep reducing penetrating damage, you don't want him to get picked off or outwitted off top. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
So it's like if I'm gonna put my Ed Shelton hat on and just say like from a game design standpoint, WizKids, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like we've got empower and we've got a reducer that I can use with penetrating damage. So in theory, the only thing I'm going to be reducing is probably exploit, which I don't know, might get through his first 2 clicks anyway. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It works as a common prime. I don't think it's an amazing fig. I will have fun playing it once or twice though.
Yeah.
And I think that's my concern. And this is something that I've sort of noticed, is with the rate of which product comes out. Like when we were 4 sets a year, you could marinate through a set and be like, yeah, I played it. But with the volume that comes out a year, it's like, well, I got stuff I haven't played from the last 2 sets. Is this worth me buying? And it's like, well, for me, I'm like, well, am I going to play it at locals? Probably not, because I'm going to play like all those X-Men I have, because Lord knows how much I spent on that. I'm going to play all these Wakandans that I own, because again, Lord knows how much I spent on that. And then special events and sealeds and all these other things, and eventually you're like, new product, and you're starting to cycle it.
Hey man,
So go ahead.
To that point, Ed, that's why I stopped buying bricks and cases. Like, as
Yeah.
much as we play the game, and I'm one of those guys that I always want to do a buy-in when I go into my stores to play, right? Like, we've got two stores that we play in now here in Little Rock. One is in Little Rock, technically, the other's in North Little Rock. We always do a buy-in when we go to Game Goblins. The other store on the north side, Imagine, the guys don't always want to do a buy-in out there, but I'm always encouraging to do a buy-in because I want to support the store and spend money while I'm in the store. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if you're going to provide me with a place to entertain myself for a few hours, the least that I can do is spend money. However, that means that I just have so many extra toys that I'm not doing anything with. So I've gotten over the fact of like, oh, I got to buy a new brick or I've got to buy a case of this set to try to pull the figs that I want. I would just rather do a buy-in, or sometimes I'll just wander into a store and buy, a pack or two. But, we always got all this different stuff in prize support. Most of the time, unless it's just something amazing, I'm sure it's the same way with you all's local scene. If guys already have figs, unless it's amazing fig, they just pass it along to the next highest person who finishes in whatever order that we're going in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm definitely with you on that point. I'm sorry for deviating down that path.
But no, like if it wasn't for the kids I'm teaching and I'm making like a role playing game for them, like when I went back to Kansas City, I got like all my old heroclix that I wasn't using. Like the Valley of Forgotten Toys, which is really a couple of bags full of heroclix. And I'm like, look, when we play this role playing game, we're going to use them. I brought those out. Some of my middle school kids were like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, yep, so cue this for being part of the RPG that we're making. And the kids enjoyed it because it's new and fresh to them. And they're not going to care about the stats that are on there. But overall, when I look at those figures, I'm like, those are all the figures that are left over from the thousands upon $1,000 that I've spent on this game.
Yes.
So, and that's not even like the stuff that I valued. That's the stuff that I was just like, yeah, I was in like 20 seals at a convention, and I brought home a trash bag of heroclix. That's what happened.
Yeah.
But okay, so let me go to one of my gripes with this set. Masters of Evil. Okay. They had, in my opinion, they had the ability and opportunity to give us a very powerful, very strong, very anti-Avengers team with multitudes of options to play, because they put a lot of Masters of Evil in this set.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just feel like they done pooped the bed and had runny diarrhea and it's dripping on the floor. Like, that's how I feel, how much they messed that up. Am I wrong? I'm going to start with Marquise.
No, you're not. I definitely wanted more Masters of Evil. I mean, we got a few guys that we can bring in from the mighty Thor, if we're talking modern, just for a little while. I know they're not going to, be modern in terms of a competitive tournament, but if you're doing a 600-point modern game, you've got some of the Wrecking Crew guys that I believe have Masters of Evil, but no, I definitely wanted more Masters of Evils guys. Like, I still want a Whirlwind, for crying out loud. He was Masters of Evil, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
And I want a Claw, not the one that we got that was an LE a while back. That one was all right. I really like the one from the Avengers Defender. You guys remember that one?
Yes.
Yeah, I like that fig. He was. But again, if we're just talking just fun,
that's why Marquise
fun
wanted
games.
One that was not so expensive.
Yeah. But no, I think you're right, Ed, man. I agree with you. I definitely wanted more Masters of Evil. I really want to see like more of the villains inside of the game. I think it gives you just some balance, and sometimes it's just fun to play those games or whatnot.
Also, side note, I didn't know this. Alex Wilder is Masters of Evil. So
absolutely.
There is hope. There's hope out there for it not to completely suck.
Maybe I need to listen to your epic rant, Ed, but I don't hate the Masters of Evil in this set. But I have not taken a close, deep look at them. I just noticed, like, hey, they have the same basically the same trait as the Avengers. So I guess that's what they're doing with this, where they hit and they get a chance to remove a token or a hit target.
So okay, so here's where my gripe sort of comes in.
Mm.
So you look at, like, if you just click on realms and you're like, oh, here's all the masters. All right, you go, your lowest level rarity master is Power Man. He sucks. You're not using him. Okay, like, you're not using him at all. Then you get Skin, which is sort of useful because now your whole team has shape change. So you feel a little bit better. You're like, all right, we're actually doing something.
Mm-hmm.
Then comes Baron Zemo and you get Glue Stick Land. And you're like, yeah, this is sort of good, but this doesn't really stop a lot. And the only thing it sort of affects is hyper carries, but not even that much because they're still going to be minus how many people they carry. And more than likely, they're going to be -3 movement anyway. So this doesn't affect most of the stuff that you're concerned about, 9 times out of 10. All right. Then you get to Black Knight. And you're like, yes, this is good. You have the Giant Man and the Wasp, my mortal foes, opposing characters with tiny symbol, giant symbol, or a colossal symbol, modify attack by -2 when attacking Black Knight. And you're like, yay, I feel good because I can actually attack with the character and I'm not so much concerned about Colossal Retaliation or Wendigo coming to try to turn me into the Wednesday night special. Okay? And so you're like, yes, this is what we need. And then you look at his dial. Sorry, I'm getting heated already. You look at his dial and he's 5 clicks with toughness. And you're like, no. And then you're like, okay, I'll sort of overlook it. I'll sort of overlook it. And then you look at his pick of power and you sort of get happy. You get a little happy. Okay, then you look at Melter. And Melter's like, oh, wow, I'm going to start giving you, negative, it's like, opposing characters that can use Impervious or Invulnerability modify attack by -2. Oh, wow, that's cool. That gets sort of stacked, against certain, Colossal Retaliators, or if I'm starting to land attacks with the Melted Your Weapons, I get Psychic Blast, and when he hits, give a melted token to a hit character. If they don't have one for the rest of the game, a character with a melted token modifies damage by -1 when making ranged attacks. Okay, so you're starting to see, like, okay, I am debuffing you. But you make him unique. And then even worse is you give him a 5 range. Like, not a 6 range. 6 range would have been functional. But you give him a 5 range. And then again, he's 5 clicks. So you're like, he's going to get punked and die. All right. Then you have Radioactive Man, who's in that same spirit of, let me come and mess with your energy explosion and your quake. That's weak sauce. Like, those 2 powers in particular. He could have done a debuff thing for Impervious or Invincible. That would have been fine. But he didn't. So, okay, whatever. And as opposing characters within 3 squares modify damage by -1 when making close attacks. Again, him and Melter should work together seamlessly. One is -1 for ranged, another one is for melee. But it's clunky. It's messed up. And the further along you go, your best stuff is your super rare, which is Baron Zemo. And that's only because he's 45 points, because there's no reason to play him any higher points. And he functionally can give you any team ability that's copyable that's Marvel, which makes him 99.9% useful on any other team that has wild cards than it does for Masters. Because all the Masters suck. I mean, even like Songbird's not bad, but her better dial is 60 points. And she's shallow. And you look at the 30 points, it's like, oh, well, that's not bad, but she doesn't have running shot. She has sidestep. So, like the best masters, mark my words, Atlas, super rare. Baron Zemo, Machine Smith, and that's because his Pog is stupid broken and does not belong in the game. Absorbing Man, because he's a chase, and you put exospecs on that sucker, and he's broke. If you have obscuring terrain, he is the brokest dude ever. Okay, like really read Absorbing Man. Like he is broken because he can get like improved movement, ignores blocking terrain, not destroys blocking terrain, just straight up ignores it. So he could just take the token, put his marker on obscuring terrain, and function just hypersonic and give him exospecs, and he can function just hypersonic speed through walls. Like no problem. Like the dude could be broke. Like I think WizKids is probably going to errata him. You know, like that level. And then Ultron. And then in the end, you're looking at Ultron as your hero, but he has nobody to really back him up. To be like, hey man, I'm buffing your stats. Hey guy, I'm putting out barrier. Hey guy, I'm doing all this stuff. Or at least we're running up there with you, nerfing everybody else around you so they can't hurt you. It just doesn't work. Like they didn't have a plan. It's worse than Wakanda. So this is the rant 2.0.
But you overlooked a few figures though in your Masters of Evil here. Moonstone, with her ability to mind control friendlies if you pay
Thunderbolts. It's just Thunderbolts.
Just Thunderbolts? Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
And I thought there was a Baron Zemo in the set that made Masters and Thunderbolts have the Thunderbolts keyword, but no, he only makes it so that Master and Thunderbolts could be together on a theme team.
A theme team, yep.
Yeah.
Okay, but still, I mean, you could put Fixer on. He's a Thunderbolt and a Master of Evil. Gives you your TK, so you have yours a little bit more mobility. He's got Mega Perplex, where you can perplex like everybody within 4 squares in line of fire, except damage. Okay, that's fine. So there's that, and you've got Taskmaster, who's also a Master of Evil, 12 attack. He's got all the, well, not all the powers you need, but you know, all the powers on his card, so he's got some flexibility.
My problem again with Taskmaster is like, all right, I go back to my Sentinel argument. Sentinels is well designed as a keyword in Dark Phoenix for a couple of reasons. You have three main paths to travel with Sentinel. You have Bastion, you have Stealth Sentinel, and you have Nimrod. Those 3 figures can prop up a Sentinel play. Okay, if you want to mix Bastion and Bastion and Nimrod, you can. If you want to mix Stealth Sentinel and Bastion, you can. I think, and you can mix Stealth Sentinel and Nimrod if you want to. They're not good teams at 300 points. They're not good teams. But if I come up and I say I'm going to run Sentinels with Bastion, I can play a bunch of Trask in Cyclops Sentinels, in like 1 or 2 Cyclops Sentinels, and then a Tri-Sentinel. If I'm going Stealth Sentinel, I can run 1 Trask or no Trask. I can go Creeds. I can go a handful of Friends of Humanity, and I could go with a couple of Tri-Sentinels and run Stealth Sentinel and a bunch of IDs. If I'm going with Nimrod, I can go 175-point Nimrod, 1 Tri-Sentinel, and then a bunch of standard Sentinels if I wanted to, just to sort of body block and get some move and attack in. Like, there are multiple teams that you can combine the figures that they gave you to make very strong teams. Whereas Masters of Evil has almost double the amount of figures, and the entire time you're like, I have to play Baron Zemo, I have to play Songbird, and if I have Machine Smith, I have to play Machine Smith. If you say like, okay, well, what about Ultron Absorbing Man? Okay, if you're lucky or rich enough, okay, let's just say you have one of the two. Like, what path are you going? When you're designing those teams, how do they all correlate around that figure into that theme? And I'm like, okay, if I have Ultron, does it benefit me to have Radioactive Man? Because I'm running shotting in, I have to get really close to get Radioactive Man to be up there and be like, no, -1 to your melee damage. Aha, so we're sort of tougher. And that's not that great. and then Fixer's running up behind him. And it's like, okay, do I have two Atlases on the side? Like, what am I doing? Like, it doesn't make sense. And even more so, like we were saying before, about the fun factor, all the fun factor is in the higher rarities, which is already a problem with this game. Whereas when I look at Sentinel, I can just play Trask on any team. Or like, I could just run a whole bunch of Trask, okay, and Bastion. And because Bastion's technically low rarity, but it's really higher rarity because it's one Colossal per booster anyway. I can run a bunch of Trask at low level, a bunch of Friends of Humanity, and Bastion, and troll people and have fun. Like, let's see how many Sentinels I roll out this turn. That's a legit strategy. It's a legit strategy. But,
let me jump in, Ed.
Go ahead.
That's
Interrupt me anytime.
what you just said. That's what you just said is like one of the things that I like to try to battle against as it relates to local play as much as possible. The fact that the fun factor with some of the figs is at a higher rarity level. That's one of the things that I don't particularly enjoy at all times. I like the fact because I remember when I was a new player and I wanted to play certain things or certain figs or whatever the case may be, you can't just obtain all of these things at once. Right. And it's good when there are things that are competitively viable that you can get your hands on that allow you to compete in new and local games that are also fun. That's now as it relates to this particular topic, which is us talking about Masters of Evil, I don't think it's there, right? For Masters of Evil. Mm-hmm. I will say this, though. That's one of the things I think that from a competitive factor, I think that WizKids is kind of aware of, and a fun factor that I think they're trying to like battle against going to the conversation you're having right now, like with something like Sentinels, right? Mm-hmm. Like you can take, if you're a new player, $30, go get you a Nimrod, a Bastion, Senator Kelly, maybe one or two generics. It might take you a little bit more than $30-$40, but you get the point. Yeah. You could build a nice little team with something like that and have fun playing it and then be able to compete, you know? So that's one of the things that I just really, really like actively try to guard against in terms of the local play, especially when new players show up, because that's a turning point. That's a turnoff. Everybody does not have the financial resources to have fun and be competitive at the game at the same time. Sorry.
Right. No. And here's the point is I 100% agree with you. And like one of my frustrations has been Star Trek. And I know this is completely sidebar. But Star Trek to me is so much fun, especially Starfleet. But
they play so well together.
They play super well together. Okay, so you can't tell me you cannot think about cohesion from a set design standpoint. You prove to me you can, WizKids. You prove to me you can. So when I look at this set, I'm like, all right, I can point out the flaws of Starfleet, which is you don't have a mass carry and you don't have a colossal retail. Well, Dark Phoenix came out and I had to say, like, your only problem is you don't have a mass carry. And functionally, I think that's a good thing, or else you would be OP right now, Star Trek. They would. They would guarantee map because you can easily make a +10 to +12 Starfleet team with no fluff. And they can rock you. And they can pick the map, and you can be hyper-optimized for that map. And there's nothing that you can do about it. And I like it. I 100% like it. But when I look at getting people into the game, getting people involved in the properties that they like, Masters of Evil is like one of my number 7 or 8 properties. Like, okay. If someone says like,
that's why you so mad.
Yeah, it's like, Edward, when you play villains, who do you play? It's like, what was that one dude? It's like, I don't always drink this, but then I Tanqueray or whatever. This is how you Tanqueray or something like that. I forgot. I'm probably
talking about the Dos Equis, man. Yeah. I don't always drink beer when I do.
Yeah.
It's a Dos Equis.
Yeah, the Dos Equis guy. It's like, I don't always play villains.
Stay thirsty, my friend.
Yeah, but when I do, I play Masters of Evil. And they sucked for so long. And the closest that they've gotten, unfortunately, was the last Captain America set where we had a 150-point Baron Zemo that brought Masters and Thunderbolts together. Literally the same darn thing that's happening now. That's the last time that it was good. And you're trying to do the same thing again, and the dials are more refined and everything's quote-unquote better, but they don't work as a team. And that's the sad part. And you've shown, the game design has shown us multiple times that they can operate with a theme, operate with a cohesive mechanic, and then also give us multiple paths to play. Like X-Men, you had Lila Cheney for your hyper carry. Oh, you don't want Lila Cheney? We introduced Blackbird. Okay, cool. So you have those two picks. So you can build a Blackbird team, and then if you want to double, triple, quadruple down on the Blackbird, you just pay more points for it. If you want to have a whole bunch of X-Men, you can play 2 Lila Cheneys. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. There's nothing stopping you from playing what Kid Gladiator builds, which are also fun because you have all this leadership. There's nothing playing, there's these wide scopes of X-Men builds that you can play and design it. And I'm like, I look at Masters of Evil, it's like, you literally gave them all these high rarities for what? For them to suck? I guess so. But all right, I feel like we've kicked this. I've kicked this one too hard. So let me go to the last topic of Captain America and the Avengers. What is your favorite lower rarity characters? Top 2.
Lower rarity, so
lower rarities.
Commons
yeah,
only.
Commons, uncommons. So if you're playing Pauper with this set, who are you going to?
Do you know Marquise? Because I don't know yet.
Well, I'll give one, then I'll let you go. Off the top of my head, I think I already talked about this guy. It's definitely Winter Soldier. That dude is, he was good for the 90, 95 points, whatever he is.
Points.
Number 15 common.
Yeah.
Running shot, 11 precision strike, 17 invuln outwit with the espionage trait. I think outside, and of course the assembled bolts and masters, I think outside of just the format proper, when you're not playing sealed, that espionage trait will be significantly better. And it's going to be hard to get that guy off his top dial, just in a proper format properly. That guy, he's good, man.
Okay. Mine is Quake. That piece is... She's kind of bonkers. When I compare her to her previous incarnations, I feel like this time they got it right.
Yeah.
Sometimes it looked good. It didn't really play well in practice, but this time it plays pretty well in practice without being absolutely busted. So she's one that I'll reach for before a lot of these others.
Yeah, I actually gave her a thumbs up. Because she has the ability to just mess people up on multiple levels of elevation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I hit you for 2. You'll take, and it's a single target quake. So you'll take full damage. And according to the stars and how they align, you get knocked back this direction. So take 2 damage on top of everything else. Are you still alive?
Yep.
I was like, yeah, let's see how this goes. I have running shot quake. Like, literally, that's what she has. She has running shot quake.
No, not literally. Figuratively.
Figuratively. She has running shot.
Because if she didn't have... Well, so here's where that radioactive band came in. I wanted to do that to him with her, but because he works against Quake, okay, I actually cannot target him with... Well, I could target him with her, but it was a bad play, so I went after another target. Which is the good thing about her is that she can choose different targets and not have to go after the one guy who nerfs Quake.
Right. All right, so that's y'all's first pick. My first pick is Trick Shot. This dude is boss.
Yeah.
This dude is boss. I had to admit he is boss. The running shot, 12 attack, 8 range, precision strike. willpower, 3 damage, 50 points. And I saw the Thunderbolts and I got happy. I'm like, this is going to be fun, my friend. This is fun. Okay? This is where WizKids got it right. And I will admit where they got it right. You can do better than that. Once per turn, when a friendly character within 4 squares in line of fire would be hit by a ranged attack, you may roll 2d6 and add trick shots attack value.
That power is too good.
Yeah.
He should have to have line of fire to the attacker square or to the attacker or something.
I agree, but I will take this. I will take this. And it's good to me. Like, I'm like, yeah, there's no reason not to play 2 trick shots and look at a Thunderbolts team. Like, I can actually say, like, get some trick shot going in Pauper. We can have some fun with that. So I like trick shot. So going back around, Marquise, what's your second pick?
I'll go with a fig that I played against that was surprisingly really good. And that's Victor Machana. Am I saying his last name right?
Mancha.
Yeah.
Mancha. Okay. That guy. If you're not dealing penetrating damage, he is hard as the dickens to get off the board. He's traded sidestep stealth, and friendly characters can use mastermind to friendly characters can use mastermind to mastermind to him. And when they do, if they share a keyword, he has invulnerability. Not to mention the fact that he has enhancement. So I was playing Jamie, and Victor was just running around behind Iron Man, and he was just masterminding all of my attacks. I wasn't dealing any penetrating damage. He was just masterminding all the attacks off to Victor. I couldn't outwit him. I couldn't see through. I couldn't get to him. It was difficult based on the map that he chose, and it took me forever to kill the guy. He traded stealth, sidestep. If you want to protect the fig, he's not a bad call.
Yeah. All right. So go ahead, Doc Samson. What's your pick?
I like Wasp. I like Wasp for her. Well, she's a favorite character first of all. So whenever there's a new Wasp, I'm like, okay, I need that figure. I like that she's got the espionage trait, and I like her ability to nix enemies' improved targeting within 5 squares of her. So suddenly your stealth is actually working against the espionage guys, and suddenly folks can't just shoot over all kinds of blocking and or elevated. The trade-off is that she has to kind of be possibly within harm's way because it's within 5 squares, which is her range. So that's problematic, but I can live with it.
I wish she had something. It's like if she shares a keyword, friendly characters within 5 squares can't be targeted by improved targeting. I would have loved that. Yeah. I would have been like, this is a must-have. And then I would march boldly forward and play Wakanda. I would march boldly forward to play Wakanda. My second pick is a dude I ranted and raved for. Is Dario Agger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love this dude. Don't pay the 25 points for Legacy of Minos. Like, that's a waste. Don't do that. That's a waste. Endless supply of resources, outwit, probability control. Opposing characters within 5 squares can't use team ability. Goodbye, Power Cosmic. Goodbye, Mystics. Goodbye, PD. Goodbye, Masters of Evil. Goodbye, all the silliness. Get wrecked, son. Like,
get wrecked, son.
Get wrecked, son. And you have to come deal with him. And he's going to mastermind stuff off. And even if you do not play him with theme, which is fine, because I think 90% of the time you're not. Even if you don't play him with theme, he has enough richness to work with most team designs. You run the POG team, that's not theme team, play him. So he has stuff to mastermind off to. I think it's like perfect. Definitely one of the best. I hope he shows up in the meta because I feel like with all the Power Cosmic and Quint and the other silliness going on, he has a place. You know,
Yeah, he'll be in the meta.
And he's low rarity. So that was one of those like, Whiz Kids, good job. Like, pat on the back, hand clap, round of applause. Like, we needed this. Because in the past, what was that guy? He was from the Captain America set. And he was with, what was that one side team? It was like Boom Boom, the Captain, Monica Rambeau.
Next wave.
Next wave. Yeah, he was in that Next Wave, and then he was like the villain of the Next Wave. One of the two versions of him had the ability to take away team abilities if you were like this close.
Mm-hmm.
And he was good. And I sort of just look at this as like he's the Dario Adder is like the second coming of that guy. Which
Dark Anger is much better than Dirk Anger.
Dirt Anger, that's it.
Yeah, much better. I told this guy in a battle royal yesterday, and it darn near got me the event, even though my whole team was only like 240 points.
Whoa.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. But and if I had not misplayed that Spy Master, I might have actually been able to pull it off. But I did misplay that Spy Master. So, but yeah, this guy outwit, prob, TK, Mystics, even without having to, not having to, but without being able to use his turning off team abilities, because there were no team abilities I had to worry about in that game. He was a boss.
Yeah. Like, this is Fast Force's Scarlet Witch. Like, instead of Perplex, we got Outwit. Like, this is the same level of strength.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, this is good.
And he has Outwit instead of Perplex because you want him to be kind of close so you can get rid of them team abilities.
Yes, and then take away stuff that's a problem.
Yep.
Yeah.
And stealthy.
Yeah.
He can TK himself, so, if he needs to get out of dodge, just self-TK, don't have to break away.
Right. So, I look at him as nothing but a win. Like, I want to see how people integrate him. I hope he doesn't become one of those figures that people completely skip over, and then they're like, oh, I remember that guy, and then Popper comes up. It's like, I remember that guy, and he becomes like a Popper champion, and nobody else uses him for the rest of the time.
Mm.
That's my hope, that he doesn't turn into that. All right. Well, it's been an enjoyable, long show. Thank you all for listening. I'm gonna give any last bits of shout outs or whatever to my guest, Marquise. You got any shout outs?
Shout out to Team Juggernaut. Man, love you guys. Thanks, Ed, for letting me be on the show. Definitely have fun talking clicks with you guys. Black Hero Clicks. Black Hero Clicks. Black heroes matter. We need them in life. It's fun to see representation.
There we go.
Yes.
All right. Doc Sampson.
I don't know why you're calling me Doc. I only got 2 degrees. This is Kari Sampson, a.k.a. Baroni KJS, representing Atlanta. So my shout out is to my Atlanta peoples. Although we are spread out throughout the Atlanta diaspora, we all love each other, and I'm always glad when we get to play.
There we go. All right. So, like always, you can follow me on Twitter at StartOverPod. It came from outer space and told me on planet 35729 there are dark-skinned people that have flying space cars, and all they do is race all the time. That's all they really do. I don't know why. That's what my Twitter tells me. It gets around. It's intergalactic. It sheds the radiation before it comes to the atmosphere. So NASA, don't come at me. If you want to, you have any comments about the show, put it in the comments below or email me at startingoverpodcast@gmail.com. That's startingoverpodcast@gmail.com. If you wish to opine, keep it piffy, keep it interesting, keep it awesome, baby. You can donate to the show at startingoverpodcast.blogspot.com. Everything that you donate goes to making the show better. Once again, I'd like to thank my guests for coming on. And I love doing this every year, Black History Month, and covering Black HeroClix with Black HeroClix players, and with a diverse view of opinions. Like we're all not just hardcore meta, like myself, and we have varying viewpoints. So we'll see who's on next year. We might have the same cast back. We might have more people. I try to get Bradley. Shout outs to Bradley from Pusheen. I try to get you, and it just didn't work out for this evening. So again, thank you all for listening, and remember, we all